Hello. This video is going to be a actual play of me using snippets for what we call non-authoring solo. Authoring solo is the more common form where when you ask a question, you may get a yes/no answer, or you may get a couple of words or an icon or something, but it's the icon is generic, the words are generic, and you have to think up what does that prompt mean to me in this situation, take into account everything that's gone before and the sort of adventure I want to have. In the same way that an author of a story or a book, they have to do all the world building themselves and all the plot development themselves. In authoring solo or traditional solo, the player is also doing all of that creation themselves. Non-authoring solo uses a greater amount of outside input, so much of the world details are coming from the tools rather from you, and then you react to what you get. Cut-ups is just one small part of non-authoring solo. Another popular one is AI Dungeon, where you can train the AI to the kind of adventure you want and the style and the world. So you do the training, and then it gives you suitable responses to your actions and reactions. So there's different kinds of play. I'm not keen on AI Dungeon. I don't use it. I am quite keen on the cut-ups, but when I started using cut-ups, I was using them as a oracle for prompts, and rather than using them as actual raw output. And as the more I do it, the more I'm trusting the output, but you still do a little bit of editing. Now, I have a series of books for cut up solo, and they come with spreadsheets, which massively expands the amount of text available. And each book has a short, sort of one scene actual play in it. Now, the book I'm working on at the moment, it doesn't have the actual play in it because that's what I'm going to create today. So I thought if I actually showed it in use, then it would give you an idea of how it works. Compared to a more traditional play, it's much slower and more involved, um, but you'll see how it works. It's very satisfying, I find. So what you're seeing here is the snippets pages of the PDF. Now the PDF isn't finished yet, so but what I've got here on the next page is this is two D1000 tables, one on the left, one on the right, and each one has see that's the end of it at the moment. It goes up to 1,000. I'm just going to use the left hand side today. I've also got here a dice roller with a D1000 and a blank game journal. Behind here, I also have the spreadsheet. Now, in the spreadsheet, on this bit, there's 35,361 snippets, and that is all of the text from Interplanetary by E. Doc Smith and First Lensman. So these are the first two books in the Lensman series. So I have chopped nearly all of the text up into sort of 3 or 4 words or 2 word little snippets of text, and then randomized it all. And then this page here then pulls out 20 snippets at once. But I will start with the book. Now, the nice thing about the book is this will be in print. So you can actually take it with you. You get 2,000 snippets in the book, two D1000 tables. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to start by rolling the So what's that? That's come up with 858. So let's go to 858. Oh, 858 starts with waiting for us to. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take. I normally take them with fives. So there we go. We'll take those five and pop them into the text editor. So let's take a few more. 938. So 938 gives me. Um, Now I'm using Alt and my mouse to drag a block here. It's easier than trying to take one at a time, but you can literally, roll, take a line, roll, take a line, roll, take a line. Uh, it doesn't matter if you take them sequentially because they're pre-randomized. It's not like the text is there in sequence. No, I'm just going to do one more roll and grab, and then we'll see if we can make an opening scene. So we've got 653. 653. There we go. And we'll pop those into the text editor. So, okay, I've got 16 there, so I obviously grabbed 6 at one point rather than 5, but it doesn't make any difference. This list is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and we will take bits out as we need it. So, what I want to do is to create an opening scene for a character. Now, I'm not using a game system in here. If I actually reach a point where I was going to combat, I would probably use my own little 3D system because I know it sort of most of the rules off the top of my head, so it makes that quite fast. Uh, the whole Lensman, E. Doc Smith is credited as being the creator of space opera as a genre. So any system that encourages space opera would be suitable for this. Yeah, so you can use anything you like. This is completely system neutral. You can plug it into any sci-fi system you like. So let's see, what have I got here? Have I got anything that suggests a nice opening scene? And I often like to start in media res, so in a high sort of action or high drama scene. So let's have a look. What so Non-authoring solo or cut-ups, they kind of rely on the part of the human brain that can see patterns in seemingly random data and just create patterns that don't really exist. And that's what you're looking for here is stuff that seems to fit together. So I like that line. So we're going. Now the little double slash, it shows me where the snippets join together. So I quite like that line. Um, uh, Sorry, if you get sent long stretches of silence, it's because I can't walk and talk at the same time. Uh, uh, oh, hang on. Now, something I quite like to do is create some NPCs right from the start. It populates my world. It gives me something I can actually role play with. Now, in the four that I've already chosen, you've got the use of us, which suggests there's more than one person there. He didn't notice, which suggests that there is another person there, and being her question. So there's me, he, whoever he is, and her. So I've got three characters in this scene. Um, um, right. So what can I do with these bits? So I've got 5 bits here, which isn't a huge amount of text. So that he didn't notice, I'm going to take that and put it in here, and being her question, stick that on the end, and just for now, I'm just going to uh, bear with me a second. I'm just starting Microsoft Word, so I'd like to do my cut-ups in Microsoft Word. So now, if I can make this small enough, I, can you see that? Yes, you can. Let's just bring that down a bit. Um, so the construction part. Oh, go away. Right. So we'll strike that out. So what we've got now is he didn't notice her question. Um, so we get rid of that bit. Now this bit. So observation showed that he didn't notice her question. Um, so I like these other 2 lines, but they don't really fit with what I've got at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some more snippets. Now that's 732. 732 gives me um, so what has this given me? Oh, I like that one. So I'll put that down in the list that seems to go together. Uh, oops. I like to delete the lines from the pile of snippets, just so I don't use the same one twice. So can I fit that in with what we got here? Observation showed that he didn't notice her question. Now I'm going to insert a word here, and I would um, as he made his oh, I do like to make it obvious what I've added. So these tiny little edits are there just to make it read a little bit better. Observation showed that he didn't notice her question as he made his dread announcement. Now, I have no idea what the announcement is. Um, so let's get rid of that bit. But we're starting to get a bit of a dramatic scene, something of something that one can react to. So let's have a look. I think that what's going on here is, so let's open a quote. So he's going to be saying they're ineffective beams. Um, Definitely and steadily upwards. Um, uh, Now, I don't want that bit. Now, what I am picturing in my head is that there is some kind of underground subterranean race or threat that is of boring up, and that is what's going to be the threat. So this could be kind of like a journey to the center of the earth type adventure coming up. And so right, so this is I've constructed this first kind of scene. I'm in some kind of military briefing. Um, I obviously have a colleague here beside me, and there's the he in this is uh, an officer in charge. So I've got a little cast list of NPCs. I've got an officer and a colleague, um, and at a later point I will create of of character sheets for them if they seem important. It might be that the officer doesn't feature again. So the GM output at this point is observation showed that he didn't notice her question as he made his dread announcement. They're ineffective beams, definitely and steadily upwards. So he started to tell us about this assault from under the ground. Uh, so I think she is going to interrupt. Uh, Actually, no, I don't. I think let's put on she. Um, right, so I'm going to take both of those for now because I'm going to use them together. I've just bombed on the end there. Right, so that was my addition. Now I'm going to do a little bit of editing there for him. Oops. To oh, so that's the first bit of GM input. Now, what could happen here is I could instantly react. I could interrupt him. I can now react. This is the role-playing bit of it. I can now react to what I've been told. My character could also wait for to see if she reacts. Respect the NPC. Their part in the story. Um, but she doesn't seem to uh, be about to interrupt him. So I'm going to ask the question. How? Okay, so I'm asking the NPC. So now this time I'm going to put the uh, snippets away. I'm going to swap to the spreadsheet only because I find it faster. Now, if you press F9 in a spreadsheet, it will automatically recalculate. This is Excel, and on the data there is formulas. There is a recalculate sheet, which will also re, no, recalculate or re-randomize. So I'm just going to pop these on the end. So now I'm getting them. It's all a bit faster. Just close up the gaps. So, what was my question? My question to him was, how immediate is the threat? Um, right. So, what I'm doing now is I'm just reading through the some snippets I've got. Um, oh, we've got a name here. So I'm going to grab that name right from the start. I want that. I've now named. I know who's giving me the briefing. Of right. So oh, that's quite good. Things I'm asking about the immediacy of the threat. So it's miraculously maneuverable now. Uh, I quite like this because it shows that Randolph is obviously a little bit distressed by this. Um, ah, serious. That tells me how dangerous the threat is. Um, uh, and so, can I make something out of this? Right. So Randolph pulled himself together. Um, this bit's telling me that it's serious, and they're obviously closer because they've become more maneuverable. Um, so here is the answer to the question I asked. Um, Now I'm going to strike that bit out, just making it a bit more readable. We'll get rid of this bit as well. Uh, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start his dialogue. It is. Um, and I added that, so it's red. Uh, right, so it is serious by far in that I want to put they are, or the attack is. Right, so they are. So make that the red. You don't have to do it all in colors, but uh, this little bit is going to appear in the finished PDF. So by making obvious what I've added and what I've taken away, it will help people that haven't seen this video and have never tried the cut ups before. I think everyone that uses cut ups will use it in their own way. And the goal of this video is to just kind of show it in action. Uh, all right, so I'm going to add another little bit here saying and there. Oops, I'm just going to call them craft. I've got no idea. And I will end his dialogue at that point. I think that I want to bring in the other NPC. I want to know a little bit more about her. So what does she have to say about this? So I press F9, it's re-randomized, I copy it, and we'll pop that on the end. So I'm getting quite a big, well, it's not that big. I've got 48 unused snippets here. Now look, Dr. Nels, that is going to be my fellow NPC. So let's just have a. I'm going to do a quick um, skip down through this and see if there's any mentions of she or her, just because there is a skill to writing a female part, and I think that Doc Smith is probably a better writer than I am. So where he has written for the female part, I like to use that for the female NPCs. You know, obviously he wrote all this text. Now I can't see any at this moment, but there will be parts that come up, and it is. I think it improves the quality of the text a little bit if you can get it gendered. Um, so yeah, we've now got names for both the NPCs. Um, Now this bit from up here, um, I think Dr. Nels, although I think she's a sort of the PhD type doctor, and I'm thinking she's might be related to engineering. Um, um, I really should have read through them all a bit. Let's start again. Uh, I like the idea of some kind of container. I'm just going to bring the bottom of this text editor up so you can actually see what I'm doing. I didn't realize it had dropped off the bottom there. Right. Uh, I quite like. A reason I've oops. The reason I've taken this this line is because Yeah, in the same way that Dr. Nels has pinned down that there's, I've now got an NPC name. Um, I'm using this engineering line to help define the NPC. So when I create her later, I'm going to be creating a scientist or uh, someone with a scientific background in engineering. Um, now, the fact that it referenced 20 is helping me define the actual problem. So I will get a better idea of the scope. Now I saw another reference up here to two of something. Uh, where was that line about the connection? Yep, I think I can do something with that. So, um, I like the idea of it having completed some destruction. Um, Now, I think I'm going to be building a little bit of an exchange between the two. Um, Between Randolph and Nels. That's funny. I would have sworn I saw something, a word in here which I can't see anymore. Um, okay, so let's see what I can do with this. Um, so it's word. Let's bring this. Oh, um, so we've got Dr. Nels. Um, Actually, if I bring all of that over at once, I can mash it around in here. Uh, because we don't actually know what her question was. We know that Randolph missed it. So I'm going to copy his name just so I've got a clarity over um, who's speaking. Oops. Oh. Uh, and we'll continue his dialogue. Uh, and in that connection, so I'm building dialogue here. Uh, 5 other Petrinos. Now, if you've read the Lensman books, you don't worry about what they actually are. We're just going to use that word and redefine it in our story. Um, uh, yeah, so it's just a name. You can actually just do a find and replace if you wanted. If I decided that you know I wanted my aliens to be called xenomorphs, because I've been working with the Alien RPG recently, I could just find and replace and change Petrinos to xenomorphs, and it would help me be a little bit more sort of in the setting. Um, oops. Um, okay, so now those don't fit at the moment. So I'll just pop them back into the mix. Um, Now the reason we keep all of these is because as the more often you read over them, the more familiar you'll become, and you'll think, "Oh yes, that now fits." But as your story evolves, you can it, what didn't fit originally it could fit into the new situation. Uh, right, so I'm going to put in an R now. Oops. Oh, come on. Mouse failure here. This is rather like trying to do something with someone watching over your shoulder. Um, now we're now solving the engineering problems. Right, even before, now that's a bit of a cliffhanger. Let's find before what? So I'm just looking through here. That's possible. Before. So what we've got here, and in that connection, 5 other Petrinos are now solving the engineering problems. Um, I think it's got they complete. Right, so they completed the instruction even before um, the bomber pressed his. Right, there was a line with something about a stud, and it was early on. Um, uh, there it is. See, so that's right back. That was the second group I took. Um, so let's bring those into the Word document, and uh, it sounds like I want to put second on the end of that. Um, so, and in that connection, 5 other Petrinos are now solving the engineering problems. They completed its destruction even before the bomber pressed his detonating stud in the same. Um, yeah, it's got to have second on there, hasn't it? Um, so let's close his dialogue there. Right, so what we've now got 2 NPCs with names, and I I did say that I wanted to kind of define the scope of the problem, and that's why I originally took that line of about 20. I haven't done that yet, so this could be a full-scale invasion. It could be um, a, an insurgency. You know, I'm lacking that information. So what would we? So uh, so assuming the Petrinos are actually on our side. It sounds like there is a tool to stop this invasion because they're solving the problem and they have destroyed one of these miraculously maneuverable craft. The obvious question is where do I come into it, or where do we come into it? Seems I've got an NPC here. So what's he going to say to that? Um, Now let's grab some more snippets. They when in doubt, more is better, right? So here we go. What is my mission is the real question here. Um, so let's have a. We'll take that because it looks like I might have Dr. Jill Nells as my NPC. Um, uh, Now there's a bit. We've got detectors here, and we've got projectors here, and we've got interference or interfere here. Um, so let's have a look more. That sounds rather imperative. Hmm, so I think uh, and I just saw something else which so let's see what I can do with this bit. Um, so let's pop it in here. Interfere. That's probably going to become with our ability. Um, um, hmm, not sure about that one. Let's get rid of that. Pop it back in the pile. Um, The Cleveland Roadbush projectors. Let's stick an "and" in there. Uh, Oops. When it got to when it was near enough um, to interfere with our ability. Oops, it's, um, the Cleveland detectors when it was near enough to interfere with our ability to do what? To sign a treaty. So we'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. Oops, lost the word there. So we have this thing. It's at the moment is undefined. Oh, I've just left this bit here simply as a reminder about the NPC. Um, uh, so we need to define what it was, and from here, so we know that they can destroy it, but we know they're coming up through the ground, but we don't know what's the we still don't really know what it is. So let's go back to. I'm never ever going to use the line footballer in charge. Now, something I can do, it's not necessary at the moment, but something that I can choose to do is use a yes no oracle. If I get sort of not stuck as such, but if I actually want an absolute fact of yes, no, likely, unlikely, that kind of closed question, um, we can insert a straight yes, no answer in here. Observation showed that he didn't notice her question as he made his dreaded announcement. Their ineffective beams definitely steadily upwards. She waited for him to do his part. How immediate is the threat? Pulled himself together for his serious and by far. They are closer than this, and their craft will become maximally movable. So this is a craft, isn't it? We know that already. So it's either one or many crafts. Dr. Nels. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her a name now and skip that out now. And in that connection, 5 opportunities are now solving the engineering problems. They complete its destruction even before the bomber pressed it. So we've got these bombs coming up through the earth, sort of suicide bombers or kamikaze pilots, and that sort of. He's doing sudden in the same split second. So they're definitely, they're piloted craft. They're not uh, some kind of automated thing. Um, is close enough to interfere with our ability to sign a treaty. So it sounds like this conflict might have been able to resolve diplomatically, but this attack is there to, maybe these aliens, subterranean aliens, have been held at bay because they could be detected and the projectors could maybe interfere with their craft. But they've now somehow managed to defeat the Cleveland Roadbush projectors and detectors. Um, and they're putting this what's it called, treaty at risk. So let's grab some more and see what that gives us. Um, right, so I still want to know what's my role. What do they need me for? Um, um, Sorry for the long silence. Right, so I'm starting to get an idea now. Um, so that, um, I'm looking for words which could suggest a mission, something which a character or pair of characters would be capable of uh, carrying out. Because that's, role-playing games aren't about you know, wars fought by armies. It's about the difference that individual characters can make. Um, mm, Hmm. So what I'm feeling here is that the mission is going to be to get into a transmitter beam, um, and so oh, um, that's, uh, there's ultra. It's kind of ultra secret, ultra high security, or something along those lines. What I've got, maybe that will fit in. I'll just pop it at the bottom for now. Oops. Um, mm, oh, I've already used that. Let's get rid of that. Hmm, maybe that. Right, so I've got four more lines here which we're going to add in. So let's go back to the Word document and all right. What going into the transmitter beams? Right. Um, so this is a bit of a confused mess at the moment, but eh, let's get rid of that for now. So this is going to be quite an operation. Oh, get rid of the don't. And I'm going to just add in a little bit now, just to need to get. Okay, so incident transmitter beams. Um, and see one of the most ultra. I just think that needs secret on there, isn't it? Or even top secret. Word trying to be helpful. Wish it wouldn't. Oops. And oops. Oops. And get. In and out. Now that was quite a big chunk, and that's simply because the chance of me actually coming up with a um, the exact right wording to give the player character a mission is probably slim, unless I've got thousands of snippets to deal with, to take from. But also in my head, I already know what the mission is going to be. So mucking about with it unnecessarily, I could just keep drawing uh, uh, snippets until I got the right thing, or I can just say, right, I know, how to join that together. So here we go. So that's taken. Well, my clock here is saying 1 hour and 2 minutes to produce what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs. It isn't the fastest by any measure at all, but actually I've enjoyed every minute of it. And as long as you're having fun, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to leave it there. I've Before I play again, I will create First Lieutenant Randolph, and I will create Dr. Jill Nells, and I'll create my character. And I will leave a lot of it fairly undefined, but I can expand from this. I've got, I can basically join that onto there. To be honest, give that a. Oops, there is a real temptation to just keep playing with this. So I've got the campaign-wide threat. I've got this background of a treaty, which sounds like the war's been going on. They want to bring it to an end. There's a faction on the other side which obviously doesn't want that to happen. I've got a group, the five Patrinos, who are working on a long-term solution. And for me, I've got this goal now to get into into the transmitter beams and destroy it. So I've got an immediate plan there. So I could, if I wanted to, leap forward in time now and start on my actual mission. I'm assuming that Dr. Jill Nells is going to be the brains of the operation, who's going to be doing the destroying of the transmitter and those transmitter beams. So that's it. That is the start of my adventure uh, and using cut-ups. The chances of me actually um, creating this and the details off the top of my head and it being like this is probably very, very slim. I do a lot of interpretation. There are other people that are very, very strict with the cut ups, and literally, you'll see very few. You'll see a rearranging of words, but you don't get them adding in words. But I don't really mind. I think, as long as you're having fun, does it really matter? But yeah, so that's it. That was an example of using cut ups live, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it, or at least understand how the system works now. Thank you for watching.